Hi guys, Pavi here. Just wanted to give you my views really on Owen Lewis, who finds himself trending today. Now, Owen Lewis, if you don't know, is a tennis journalist that has been asking every US player at the Australian Open in the post-match conference how they feel about living in the US under the Trump administration in the last year. If he doesn't get the right response from them, he almost baits them to try and go against the country that they are representing. Now, for me, I just find this is vintage woke liberal actions in play. And a lot of the people, a lot of the time that I'm in tennis, I'm telling a lot of people that the media that is in tennis, the mainstream media, a lot of them are on the establishment's payroll. And some people may laugh at me, but they are pushed to pay agendas. Now, I know this because I know some people in the media that will tell me that they are expected to go in a certain way, in a certain direction, or they will lose job opportunities. So they have a tough decision to make, whether they want to be proper journalists and do what they do, or they want to put food on their table and provide for their loved ones and push the narratives. And that's what I feel is happening at the moment in tennis. So Owen Lewis, I'm kind of quite glad that he's put this out there today, because it is now being taken over by the world. The world can finally see how compromised tennis media is. And the reason it's compromised is how you let things like Djokovic being banned for not being vaccinated in 2022 happen. It's how you let Russians and Belarusians not able to represent their country. They've kind of been playing as independents. They are still banned from every single team event in tennis. And how you are allowed for people to ask questions like this, like Owen Lewis did. What do you feel about America? Now today, the best response that I've seen to date was Amanda Anisimova, who shut him down completely. Now, Amanda is the daughter of immigrants. She moved over to America with her family. She was born in the US, but her parents were immigrants, and they built their lives in America. They have a lot to be grateful for. And Amanda said, of course, I am proud to represent America. She was then further pushed by Owen Lewis to say, but what about everything that's happened in the last year? And she said, that is not relevant. Not relevant. Now, another great response that I saw was Jess Pegula. Jess Pegula was asked the same question. This is one of the US top ranked players. And she responded back to say, in Florida, I'll be honest, everything seems okay. Everything seems okay. Now, this was not the response that the establishment-driven media were looking for. They are looking for every opportunity to put Trump down because they don't like Trump, because they can't control him. Now, whether you like him or not, that's who he is. And I feel that the establishment are so scared of him that they want to do everything to discredit him, to vilify him. And they are now using tennis journalists to try and get top athletes in tennis to turn against him, which I think is absolutely scandalous. Now, for those of you who say, well, they're free, it's freedom of speech, he's right to ask Americans how they feel. Why are they not asking any of the British players how they feel under Keir Starmer? Keir Starmer, the last 18 months have been hell in the UK. I'm from the UK, so I can tell you about that. Some of the things that are happening in the UK are disgusting. Lucy Connolly was jailed for 31 months for a tweet that she later deleted, that she put out at the time of a horrific attack in Liverpool, in Southport, where kids were slain and murdered going to a dance class. In the UK, in my hometown of Derby, Danny Johal was murdered by an illegal Somalian in a bank at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He was simply going in to a bank, an unprovoked attack from a Somalian who shouldn't have even been in this country. He'd applied, he got declined, but he was waiting for an appeal. He shouldn't have even been here. Wayne Broadhurst got slain to death by an Afghan national, stabbed 3 times. He was simply walking his dog. Now, no one asks them about how the UK are doing. How do you feel under the UK? That's a question that I would like to do. But let's not involve politics in tennis. Why are we even going there? John Isner, Tennis Sanguine, have come out and said, why are they even asking tennis players about politics? It's completely bonkers. Riley Opolka's dad, George Opolka, said that any questions that are political should simply not be answered by tennis players because they're not in a position to do so. I mean, the only person really that kind of indulged in this was Coco Gauff. And Coco Gauff, we know, has been very, very political for many, many years. She had the audacity to say it's really difficult for her as a black woman in the US. This is the same woman that's one of the leading athletes, paid athletes in the entire world, trying to tell people how difficult it is. And with tennis, you have a sanctimonious, it's an elite sport. A lot of these people are liberals. A lot of them haven't got a clue what happens in the real world. They say to me, oh, but, you're a son of an immigrant. I am. I'm a son of an immigrant, but a legal immigrant. My parents came over legally. They integrated. They worked hard. They never thought of criminality. They came here. They had the papers. They worked hard. They did whatever they could. And those illegals that are coming over now illegally, that Trump and the USA are trying to clamp down on, are what gives good immigrants a bad name. But the liberals don't get that. We don't want to be tarred with the brush of those that come here illegally. Because if you come into a country illegally, you can't work legally. You have no papers to work legally. So if you come into that country illegally, how are you going to provide? More than likely or not, you may have to turn to crime to provide. It's just basic common sense. So you've got someone like Trump in America, however you feel about him, you compare him to Joe Biden. How many journalists asked Joe Biden how the players, how they felt under Joe Biden in 2022 when he banned all overseas players that didn't get vaccinated? And we all know about that now, don't we? All the heinous stuff that happened under Joe Biden when he was in China, multiple wars starting across the world. He was never asked. So it's the hypocrisy. It's the hypocrisy of it all that makes me sick to the belly, to be honest. But I'm kind of glad that Owen Lewis has put this out there because it shows what we have to deal with in tennis, what I have to deal with. I'm known as someone toxic. Oh, don't trust him. I get vilified. I've had multiple times of people trying to ban me, threats all over, because they know I've got a platform that kind of confuses them a little bit because they follow the tennis media and they just push establishment narratives. So you have more and more people that are getting brainwashed, but not just brainwashed. I'll go to the fact that they're actually getting indoctrinated. They are getting indoctrinated. And a lot of these people simply don't know what's coming. In the UK, we've got thousands of unchecked immigrants that are coming over here, but the sanctimonious think, oh, they're fighting persecution. They've come here to do good. Not all of them are doing that, especially if they come here illegally. You look at every city in the UK now, it's gone to pot. Kids can't play out there at the moment because it's so dangerous. You've got grooming gangs, mainly Pakistani grooming gangs that are running rampant. And our UK government decided they didn't even want to do a national review of this last year. They just want to nip it under the bud. They don't want to address it in case they're accused of being Islamophobic. And then they speak to immigrants and say, well, how come immigrants, why are you supporting this? The good immigrants will. This is not about race. You look at Saudi Arabia, you look at Dubai, they will not take in illegal immigrants. They've got one of the lowest crime rates in the world. This is not about race or religion. It's about common sense. And I'm sick to death of it, but I'm glad that today Owen Lewis has shown what tennis media is like. And I'm so proud, really, of Amanda Anisimova for a brilliant response. Also, Jess Pegula, I think they've done really, really well. And you know what? Today, I think Owen Lewis, who works for The Athletic and has written for The Guardian, said no surprise there. He's not even on X, he's on Blue Square. So he ticks all the boxes of these types of people. And I think he has exposed the world what we are dealing with in tennis. And my message to everyone is, if you know what's in tennis, however small your platform, speak up. Don't let be bullied. Don't let be intimidated. You know, if you speak up, people will get on you, and you'll get bots and all sorts. They want to silence you because they know they are losing the war. That war is the media war. They know that more and more people are waking up and they are panicking, and that's simply what's happening. So if if you've got points, whatever they are, just be strong and be, back them up. Just don't be a puppet and listen to what mainstream media tells you, especially in the US with CNN and the UK BBC, because these are establishment propaganda outlets, and they won't tell you the truth. They'll manipulate, they'll twist, they'll coerce in an attempt to indoctrinate the masses. Not good. That's my rant over. Other than that, I hope everyone's enjoying the Australian Open. Do you agree with me, what I just said? Let me have your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, put your comments in. Let me know your thoughts of the state of tennis media in the world at the moment, and whether you think what Owen Lewis is asking every single American player is fair. And ask the same question, why is he not asking other countries? It's a global sport. He's not asking any other countries how they feel. And ask why he didn't do the same sort of questioning under the Biden administration if you think that this is fair game. Right, catch you guys later. See you later. Bye.